We have just had an attempted coup in the South American country, Bolivia. This is the second time a coup was attempted, but luckily this time it was not successful.
The second time in Bolivia.
In 2019, there was a coup in Bolivia that ousted the president, Evo Morales, and implemented an interim president, Janine Áñez. And then she was the interim president for a couple years until there was another election where the current president was elected, Luis Arce.
Okay.
And now Luis Arce, so that's what happened, okay? Evo Morales, coup, Luis Arnez, now we're at Luis Arce.
It wasn't Luis Arnez. It was something else. Arnez.
Janine Áñez.
Áñez.
So here's the deal. Evo Morales was like the socialists' perfect example of what you could do in South America. Evo Morales did a lot of good work growing the GDP, all that good stuff, very pro-union.
Okay.
He was also the first indigenous president of Bolivia, which is important because Bolivia has a very big indigenous population. And there's a big class and racial divide between the indigenous population of Bolivia and the Spanish mixed population of Bolivia. These two have been in conflict pretty much as long as the state has been around. And Evo Morales was the first time where the indigenous people in that country kind of assumed power. So he was obviously a socialist, went against a lot of the principles of the white Spanish side of Bolivia, and they rose up and propped up a military pushback against Evo Morales, and then Janine Áñez took over from president. Now, in order to be fair and balanced, Evo Morales did change the Constitution so he could assume a third term. So when he was president, there was term limits of 2 terms for being president. He ran for a third term, and he got his party, which controlled the legislative branch, to change the rules so he could run for a third term.
Okay.
So then he runs for the third term, then the coup happens, then Janine Áñez gets in. So when I say it's a coup in 2019, some people might say, that wasn't a coup, he changed the rules. I don't know. I don't know if it's a coup. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's really... I don't know. I think it was
It's a blurry line.
It's a blurry line. It's a blurry line.
Yes. Like if
if Trump comes in and he changes it to 30
wins
terms,
both houses of Congress and gets a supermajority, and gets rid of the
2-year limit, I'd be like, hold on, wait a second. But the difference is Evo Morales really won the next election by like a big victory, right? That's the little bit of it. It doesn't matter. Point is,
it's almost like a legal.
Is it a legal coup if you win the election though?
No, is it a coup if there's not a change of power? That's not a coup.
There was a change of power because Janine Áñez got in.
Yes, but wasn't the extension of the terms, like allowing a third term, that wouldn't have been I'm confusing myself. Aren't we saying like what the coup would have been is trying to get him the third term, which was illegal before?
No, I thought the coup was the military not allowing Evo Morales to take power.
Oh. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that probably is a coup.
Yeah, right. That's how I interpret it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Evo Morales wasn't allowed to take power because the military threatened him. He had to flee to Mexico. And then we have...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then we have Janine Áñez comes in, and she's like super pro-American, super neoliberal, right?
Okay.
Ready to sell out those lithium reserves and all that stuff, which is great for an American, great for me. But so then...
You're so cynical.
So I know. So then eventually they have a new election. And in the new election, Evo Morales' party wins by a landslide and kicks her butt out of there. The Bolivian people were actually so united in their rejection of Áñez that the unions had the largest strike in the Americas history. Like when I say the Americas, I mean South and North America, the largest strike in the history of the Americas.
Wow.
And they shut down the entire system, the entire country's roadway with massive trucks. So big pushback. They elect Evo Morales' ally, Luis Arce.
Okay.
Now, Luis Arce has somewhat been forced. I don't know too much about him personally. I don't know too much about his politics. But what I do know is that he has not overseen the country in a type of Evo Morales socialism type way. He has he had scrapped food subsidies. He scrapped fuel subsidies, and those subsidies were costing the government a lot of money.
Yeah.
So he scraps those to save the government money, okay, because now the country is cash-strapped
Interesting.
due to less gas sales from abroad. The natural gas exports in the country have plummeted. Also, the country's foreign currency reserves have dwindled down to the bottom. So they're having a lot of cash crunches.
Yeah.
Evo Morales is taking advantage of this, maybe, and now he's attacking him from the left and saying, you're not in the interest of the people, you betrayed your mandate, and the people are following Evo Morales.
This is so
So
interesting.
Evo Morales is very much prepared to go and fight Luis Arce at the ballot box again.
And they've got an election next year.
And they have an election next year.
Yeah.
So then we get a coup in a couple days ago, but the coup didn't come from Evo Morales' side. No. They came from the forces of reaction, of conservatism, trying to implement a military dictatorship. That the military was unhappy with the way Arce was running the government. So the military comes in, they fail. Arce is able to remain power, and now currently his popularity is increasing quite a bit.
Yes, because now he's the president who stood up to a coup.
He's the man who survived.
It's so interesting because the general afterward who staged the coup claimed that the president told him to do it so that the president could boost his own popularity. But we have no idea.
Right. That could just be the general trying to save his ass.
Exactly.
But like that's where my mind first went.
Really?
That's where my mind first went. I'm reading it. I'm
hilarious.
thinking about this. I'm thinking, like, Evo Morales is coming back. He's like the king of Bolivia. The people love him there. He's getting He's threatening the president to go at him at an election. And then this coup happens, and he shouts out the people at the door, and all the military guys go away. 20 people have been arrested. Right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Because all of the Bolivians also, according to reporters, are saying that they just saw the whole thing as a farce.
Right.
Like everyone on both sides of the aisle rejected it. They're like, this is ridiculous. So it does make you wonder whether it's real.
Right. I mean, people say, was it a media spectacle put on by the government?
Exactly.
Right? And so it's interesting. Bolivia is a crazy country, guys. It's really interesting. It's going to be a crazy election year in 2025. I remember the elections of 2019. I watched those live.
Really?
Yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts.
Interesting.
I was very invested. I was very pro Evo Morales.
Yeah.
And I still think I am.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know.
You are a big socialist fan.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
Bolivia's a very poor place, especially since it's natural gas.
Yeah, the main thing that got me, and I haven't done research on this in a long time, but the main thing that got me was the GDP bump after Evo Morales came in, because he did like a big jobs program and got everyone employed and just built stuff.
Okay.
He just built things.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, exactly. But
Cool.
It's interesting stuff, man. And that's not the only coup that happened this week.